Sup, everybody? Hope all of y'all are doing undeniably fan-frickin-tastic out there. It's Monday, and you know what that means. It's vlog day once again. You like what I got hanging up on my room door right here? I painted this myself a couple years ago at my niece's birthday party. Thought it looked pretty cool, so I said I'd keep it hanging on my door or something. And right here, you see what that says? It says, "I'm famous on the internet. You're darn tootin' I am." But yeah, I hope all you had a good week. My week has been pretty good. Pretty good, I must say. I was glad that I was able to get through that week of SSP uploads. Not bad for a first week of the year for programming as far as self-standard programming goes. But yeah, I enjoyed the content that I produced this week. I had fun uploading it, I had fun filming it, and I had fun uploading it. So hopefully that's a sign of things to come for the rest of the year that is 2023. But as I digress, this is what I wanted to talk about today. You're not going to believe the story that I got to tell. You're not going to believe it. I know I certainly don't. But for those of you that watched my match this past Tuesday with Ace Harris, the match that took place December 30th. So, for those of you that watched the match, spoiler alert, after the match was over, you may have heard that I won $10,000. Alright? You may have heard that in that match I lost. No, you may have heard that in that match I won $10,000. Right? But for those of you that also watched that match, you may have saw Ace Harris trying to hurt my arm for a little bit. Trying to hurt my hand for a little bit, right? But during the match, though, you may have seen Ace Harris stick my hand and stick it between the ring post and the steel steps. My hand was stuck between the steps and the ring post, and before I could get it out in time, Ace, he kicked the steel steps with my hand still stuck in there. And when I went back into the ring, I pulled the ref aside and said, "Ref, I think my hand is broken." And come to find out, it was. I didn't believe it. I could not believe that my hand was broken. Alright. But I was able to get through the match, even though Ace Harris and his manager Scott Pierce cheated to win. But thankfully, Kevin Kennedy was there, the commissioner. He reversed the decision and made me win by disqualification. And so I won the $10,000 in the match. However, what you didn't see was that backstage there was a doctor. He claimed to be a doctor anyway. He said that he could repair my hand, which he did, thankfully. And he repaired the hand for me, but he said it was going to cost a small fee of $10,000. Man, I don't believe that story a bit. I don't believe that. Ain't that some bull malarkey? Oh my goodness gracious. Oh well. It's a day gone tomorrow, yes? But yeah, other than that, still though, I love having Ace Harris in a match whenever I get the opportunity to face him. Like, I faced Ace Harris 3 different times in 3 different buildings in 2022. Faced him one time at APW in Bowling Springs, American Pro Wrestling there. Faced him in Orangeburg for CMWE Level Up for the Player Slay match, which I still think is legendary for me personally in my story. And then had a match with him in Saluda, South Carolina as well. So, yeah, whenever I get the opportunity to have a match with Ace Harris, I always enjoy beating him down and having him beat me down too. And who could forget the Cringe King Combat match? Oh, goodness gracious. Got a lot to talk about that in one day. Maybe this year. yeah, I got a lot to talk about that match here in the near future. But other than that though, speaking of wrestling, I hope you enjoyed Hard to Kill. For any of you Impact Wrestling viewers out there, I hope you enjoyed Hard to Kill this past Friday. Man, I got to watch it today, and geez Louise, that Josh Alexander versus Bully Ray match, just magnificent. I'm glad I'm seeing John Skyler out there helping out Bully Ray whenever he can. Skyler, he could be an incredible heel when he wants to. The match was insane. Like, I almost lost it when Bully Ray lifted up the ladder and dumped Josh Alexander into the ring onto the thumbtacks. Then his wife came out there. Perfect storytelling right there, if I do say so myself. But then in the Eddie Edwards versus PCO match, the Eddie Edwards versus Jonathan Gresham match. After the match is over, the lights go out, lights come back on. There's PC freaking O, and he's got sand coming out of his mouth because Eddie Edwards buried him alive in the what was it, the Las Vegas, Nevada desert, I think it was. But yeah, that was insane too. And the Mickie James versus Jordan Grace match, I was so relieved that Mickie James won the match. So Mickie James, congratulations. I'm glad I get to see you just a little bit longer. But other than that, folks, there was something I wanted to talk about today. But what I wanted to talk about today is something I need to preach about. Something that's been like on my mind for quite a while now. And I feel like I need to preach to somebody today. I feel like there's somebody out there that needs to hear this. Heck, even at the bare minimum. Maybe I'm preaching to myself. Who knows? But today I want to talk about being in an unwinnable war. There is such a thing as unwinnable wars out there. And you need to know when to pick your battles. So, when it comes to being faced with an unwinnable battle, you need to first analyze the situation and make sure if it's a fight worth fighting or not. And take it from me, I've fought battles I shouldn't have fought to begin with. And throughout time, I've had to realize that sometimes, just sometimes, there is victory in defeat. Sometimes. And I'll be honest, throughout my time on this earth, I have waved so many white flags, and they have not come back to hurt me in the long run. But when it comes to unwinnable wars, though, you need to keep in mind that in time you're going to come across an enemy. You're going to come across an enemy that it isn't enough for them to disagree with who you are as a person. It's not enough for that enemy to disagree with your way of life or your choices. There's going to be some enemies out there that's going to be watching you that want the satisfaction of knowing that not only are they right, but also they want the satisfaction of seeing you suffer. Even if that means they're the ones causing the suffering to begin with. Because you see, the thing about war is that it doesn't necessarily determine who's right in the fight. It determines who's left. Let me give you an example, okay? Person A disagrees with person B. Person B decides to ball up a fist and he punches person A. Person A gets knocked out. But did that make person A right? Or did that make person B right? It doesn't matter. Person B just struck first. And he had a harder punch, apparently. And that's what I mean when I say war doesn't prove who's right, it proves who's left standing. And there's going to come times when the enemy, yes, he may win certain battles, but the war will be far from over. Because you see, the thing is, you're going to have an enemy that is going to have certain goals in mind. The enemy is going to have certain goals in mind to keep pressing the issue, to keep stirring the pot, if you will. The enemy is always going to look for the next way to get that next hit in. So, when does a battle become a war, though? The enemy is analyzing you. The enemy, he's strategizing his next move, and then his next move, and then his next move. He's watching you. A battle becomes a war when you decide to fight back. And that's what the enemy wants. Because the enemy, while he's analyzing you, he knows how to pick off and expose your weakest point. Because once he sees that weak point of yours, he's going to go after that. And when he goes after that, he's going to attack you when you're most vulnerable. And at the moment when you're most vulnerable, he's going to hit you, and he's going to hit you hard. He's going to damage you physically, mentally, or emotionally. And he's going to dare you to take a swing back at him. Because he knows, the enemy knows, not dedicating this to a specific gender. The enemy knows that if you take a swing back, either A, you're going to miss, or B, you're going to look stupid throwing it. That's the enemy's goal, to make you look stupid and to make you look wrong. But there is a light at the end of the tunnel, though. Like I said, there is victory in defeat. And the way this happens is that these enemies of yours, they may want to weaponize a narrative against you. Because you see, the thing about that enemy, it's an unwinnable war to change their opinion about you. It's an unwinnable war to make them change their mind. You see, the thing about being a villain is that the main villain of the story is whoever's writing the story itself. Whoever is the author of the book is the one who decides who the hero is in a story. You're writing your own story. The enemy, he's writing his own too. But you see, the thing is, in your story, he's the enemy. In his story, you're the enemy. So that's one thing you have in common with the enemy. Both of you agree that the other sucks. And the enemy, he's going to come forth into the battles and into the war with weapons, if you will. One of the weapons he's going to bring forth is a false narrative. He might lie on your name. Let him. He knows that he doesn't have any proof to back up the claim. But the moment that you try to take a swing back, the moment that you try to fight it off, that's what he wants. He wants you to look stupid trying to fight over a truth. So what do? Agree with them. Agree with the enemy. Agree with the enemy. He knows that whatever false narrative he's twisting up and telling everybody, he knows he doesn't have any proof. He knows he can't show any evidence. He doesn't want to put forth the effort to put forth any evidence. And even if he did have the fake evidence, how can he use that to hurt you outside of the war zone? Outside of the battlefield? He can't. He wants his battle to stick forth on his own terms. He wants the war to be fought in his own personal war zone. Okay? Whatever weapon he's trying to attack you with, it can't attack you anywhere else. He needs to hit you in a direct spot only. So that weapon that he's using, that false narrative that he's using, he can't use it anywhere except one spot. So if you agree with him, that if you agree with his lies, he knows he's not telling the truth. But if you say that you agree with him, you're lying to his face too. Because if he can lie to you, who's to say that you can't lie to them? Go ahead, lie to them. Say that they're right. Because when you do, you're not giving them the satisfaction of the fight. You're not giving them the satisfaction of taking you down. Because even if you say that they're right, like I said, they can't use that anywhere else. They're not gonna go to anybody and say, hey, everything I was saying about this dude, it's right because he said it was. So you know what? Yeah, lie to them. Say that they're right. Agree with the enemy, and then the war won't hurt as bad as you think it will. Heck, it might not even turn into a war. Because you see, the thing is that, like, the enemy wants you to hate him or her. The enemy wants you to show hate, to show fear, to show anger. But you see, anger wastes energy. Hate wastes energy. Who in their right mind loves to feel miserable? Who? Think about that one person in your mind that has did you wrong in the past. Think about that one person in your mind that has done you wrong in the past. Every time you think of that individual, you just feel angry. It takes away your joy. It takes away your happiness. But the very moment that you forgive that enemy of yours, the very moment that you decide to not hate him anymore, that burden is lifted off your shoulders. Because you don't have to worry about that feeling of dread anymore when that name comes across your mind. And that's what that enemy wants. The enemy wants their name to strike fear into your soul. Anytime you see their name, you know they're going to try to pop off with some bull crap. And when they know that you see their name, saying whatever the heck it is they want to say, that's going to be the very moment that you start feeling miserable. Don't let the enemy have that. Don't let him have that. And then in the long run, they can keep painting you as the enemy all they want to. But at the end of the day, you won the war because you let them win the battle. The war is won when the battles are lost. I know that sounds weird, but it's true in this situation. And I wouldn't be saying this if I wasn't going through it myself. I wouldn't be saying this if I didn't feel it myself. Now look, I'll confess, if I'm wrong with any of the statements that I made today, I'll confess I'm wrong later. Big whoop. That's the beauty of life. You live, you learn, and you get better. That's what life's supposed to do. So, yeah, that's what I wanted to talk to you about today, about the situation when it comes to unwinnable wars. But yeah, keep that advice in mind. Keep this whole speech in mind as you go throughout your days. So yeah, other than that, I don't have much content scheduled for this week, but next week is the Monday before the Royal Rumble. And next Monday, you will be seeing me uploading the vlog that I already filmed January 1st with Queen Enterprises. So you will get to see Queen Enterprises next Monday here on SSP. Queen, if you're out there watching, love you, babe. Can't wait to see you again one day. So, yeah, other than that, folks, I know I got a couple reactions scheduled for this week. One of them is definitely going to be the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse trailer. And I might be taking a look at Humanoid Freak's video, because recently I collaborated with him for a project. You can go to his channel, check it out. All I can say is it's about mayonnaise. It's about mayonnaise. That's all I can say. So yeah, y'all just stay tuned to whatever content's coming up, and yeah. Until next time, make sure all of you remember to be outrageously optimistic year-round. Booyah! I love you all, and here comes my hug of appreciation. Bye.